Here at Paddy Power, we're the home of the Money Back Special, with some incredible offers every single week. Check out the website or app today. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Hi there, a warm welcome to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm joined this week by Paul Keeley and Tom Collins, as well as Paddy Powers. Darren Hughes to look ahead to the finale of the jump season at Sandown, and it is a card that Paul Keeley is extremely excited about, so plenty of strong views from him. The ITV cameras are also at Haydock for a race, and even at Leicester, where there's an intriguing little sprint. We'll have all the rest of the Saturday best bets, including of course the naps, and then on Sunday Group 1 flat action from France, some intriguing stuff from Nace in Ireland, and the boys may even have scraped and sussed a winner elsewhere on Sunday. But we will start with the great card at Sandown on Saturday, and the 150 is the first of 4 races on ITV. It's the Bet365 Novice Champion Final Handicap Hurdle. And Darren, take it away with a show of betting, my friend.
Sure thing, yeah. So we have Getaway Trump in as our 10-3 favourite here. Flash the Steel then is 8-1. Benny's Bridge is 8-1. Humble Hero is 8-1. Harambe is 9s. Scarlet Dragon is 9s. Cause du Jour is 9s. Dream de Granval is 10s. Birds of Prey is 10s, and it's 14s bar. And I should just say as well, we are 4 places on this race.
Jolly good. Well, we had the part owner of Getaway Trump, JK, in the office earlier, a big Postcast fan. He paid us a visit. He didn't tell us whether the horse will run well or not, so we'll get Keels to read the race first. What do you fancy?
Yeah, I can understand why Getaway Trump was favourite, because he looked quite impressive at Ayr, but I'm not convinced that was much of a race, to be honest. So he's gone up £4 for that. I think he's going to struggle to give £20 to Humble Hero myself. Trained by Dan Skelton has managed to get him on what I think could be a really tidy mark. You could argue that he ain't particularly well handicapped on what he's done, but I mean he had a best RPO of 98 on the flat and he's running off 127. And the way he travelled at Newbury last time, it was only a novice race and pulled out more after the last. I just liked it. I mean, I don't think he's straightforward. I think he might be a bit of a hound, but at the same time, he's very talented to be running off that sort of mark, and he'll travel well, and he should be there or thereabouts. The other one I like is Dream de Granval, who actually went off 6-1 for the Imperial Cup. A much better race than this, but he got bogged down in the mud there. He didn't like it. I think he'll run a much better race as well, but it is Humble Hero for me.
Humble Hero for Kills. Who for you, Tom?
Humble Hero as well. Much like Kills, I actually narrowed it down to the 2 that Kills said, Humble Hero and Dream de Granval.
How about that?
Oh, get him on your own.
I just think Getaway Trump's had a long, hard season. I fancied him for the Betfair Hurdle. He was never going to beat Aldance that day, as I'm sure Kills will tell you now. But yeah, he was smart on the flat, rated 91. I think he's well treated off 127. Travels into his races so well, and Skeltons are in flying form, so I think he can get the job done.
Sorry, Kills, can you keep your feet still, please?
Sorry, mate.
Just keep tapping your feet. I'm trying to listen to what you guys are saying, or your pearls of wisdom, but you keep tapping your feet like you're playing an imaginary drum kit. Darren, who do you like in this?
Yeah, so a small diversion from the 2 lads here. I'll just start with Getaway Trump. I agree with Paul completely. Not sure about the form in that last race. I think he'll be better over further. I mean, like Galvin was fav in that last race, and he had a tough race at Cheltenham a couple of weeks previous. So I wouldn't be inclined to take short odds about him. The one I came down on was Benny's Bridge for Fergal O'Brien and Paddy Brennan. Massively interested in this lad. Like his win at Cheltenham there 3 starts ago even. Remember watching that thinking, geez, that was something special. Like he was in off 120, but he made up about 15 or 16 lengths between the second last and the last, literally on the bridle. The form stands up fairly well in that race. Flash the Steel has gone in since the third, and that day has gone in since Flash and Glance. And Champagne City was 4th behind Benny's Bridge that day, and he ran in Winston Seed to a nose in a very competitive handicap up in Kelso. I'd forgive him his run in the Imperial Cup. He was £5 out of the handicap. On very soft ground, just never really got into it. I think better ground here will see him to better light, and a big field handicap strongly run will suit him to come late, especially with the 4 places at 8-1.
Jolly good. The 225 at Sandown is the Bet365 Oaksy Chase. Over 2 miles, 6.5 furlong, and it has gathered together 8 runners. Great news for each way punters, and also some very well known and much loved names, both equine and human, because we're delighted to welcome Bryony Frost back from her injury, one of the stars of a great jump season. And she's fav, I think, isn't she, Darren?
She is indeed, yeah. The defection of surname here has left him 5-2 fav. Bryony's probably fav as well, to be fair. Definitely Red Den is 11-4. Charbel is 7-2. Cobra de Mai is 11-2. Goal Conquerors 13-2, Gold Present and San Benedito are 10s, and Justice Hill rounds them out at 33-1.
Intriguing off field this, Tom, isn't it? When you've got definitely Red, who you'd think needs this and another 4 furlongs running against likes of Charbel. Who do you like?
Yeah, well, it's wide open now, surname's out. Definitely Red, as you say, he probably needs a longer trip. Also, I think he's only gone right-handed once in his career, and he hung left on the run-in that day, so that kind of puts me off. Charbel disappointed recently. Black Corton disappointed as well, I'd say, last twice. I think there's 8 runners. It's an each-way race. I'm not keen on anything, but Gold Present is the one for me. Beat Frodon by 3 lengths in December 2017, give him £1. We know that form's pretty decent. Frodon's gone on to good things since. He's a class jumper, really good stayer, and I just think he'll fill in the frame. I think 10-1's a good price.
And Darren.
Yeah, slightly different from Tom here. I am against Black Horton as well. He just hasn't looked himself this year, and he's closely enough matched with Definitely Red on their run to Charlie Hall earlier on in the year, and that's enough to turn me off both of them. The one I'm going to side with here is actually Charbel and Old Palomine. I just think the race is ideal for him. He should get a soft lead here. Ground conditions should be fine, and Sandown is one of those tracks where if you get a horse out in front in a decent rhythm jumping well, they can be very hard to peg back. Now, Charbel's jumping has let him down previously, but
been disappointing lately though, hasn't he? He's a horse I absolutely love, but
yeah, his last couple of runs weren't great, but if you go back to his run in Kempton behind Top Notch, Speradec and himself cut each other's throats that day, and he still wasn't beaten far, and his run before that in Huntington was a career best as far as I'm concerned in the Edgerton Blue, beating God's Own 8 lengths pretty much on the snaff, jumped like a stag that day, and I think if he gets back to that form, he'd be very, very hard to beat here.
Kills, is this one of the races you're confident about?
I really do like the look of this race, actually. Yeah, I think Black Corton's turned into a little bit of a twicer, and I think Definitely Red's too slow for 2 miles 6.5, and definitely given the ground conditions. Charbel, for me, can't jump. I'm not convinced he'll get the trip either. I think he'll be right at the very end of his stamina range. And what I come down to, I know he pulled up in the Grand Nationals, Go Conquer. Go Conquer never had a prayer of staying 4 mile in the National. So, the fact that he was pulled up is neither here nor there. If he's still fresh, he jumped really, really well when he won at Doncaster the time before, bolted up by 6 lengths. And I've always had him down as a suspect stay out at 3 mile. He obviously got it and won very easily then, but I think that's just because he's a very good horse. And I think fast ground, 2 miles 6.5 is absolutely bang on perfect for him. So I think he's a cracking each way bet. He's a real bold jumper when he's right.
Well, how do you bet 8 runners lining up here, Kills?
Prize money's good enough. I'd say they'll still go.
Let's hope so.
There'll be 7 after the first fence because Josh is always in the race.
Leave him alone. 3 o'clock, the Bet365 celebrations chase. 5 runners, possibly only 1 runner. Darren, what's the latest?
Yeah, not the most competitive affair here. We have Altior's 5s on. So Royal then is 7-2. Diego de Charmil 16s. God's Own is 25s. And Vosne Romane for the good doctor is 40-1.
Can we see beyond the fav here, Darren?
Very difficult, Bruce, to be honest. Hard pity that Surname didn't rock up here after threatening to for the last few weeks.
How would you have bet?
Personally or as a company?
Well, as a company.
I'd like to think Altior would still have been 2s on or thereabouts. Maybe a small little bit bigger than that again. It's hard to say. I'd say about 2s on. To be honest with you, I couldn't see past him, even if Surname was in the race. To be honest, I have a bit of a pick with Surname, to be honest. He's gone from being a 150 rated handicapper to apparently a 180 rated chaser in the space of 3 or 4 months. And while I'm not saying he hasn't definitely improved, he really has. There's enough to pick at there in his last 2 runs. The run in Ascot, right, he got a soft enough lead, made all, and Ascot can just throw up funny old results like that. And on the back of that then, he did appear to back it up in the Ascot chase, but again, I just have qualms with that form to a point. I think Waiting Patiently has turned out to be one of the most overrated horses in training.
That's quite enough about a horse that isn't running. Who'd you fancy, Darren?
Sorry, Altior wins this.
That's a very good David Jennings impression.
Sorry, Altior wins.
Is there a bet?
No.
No? Okay,
Sorry.
I'm in complete disagreement with him over Surname. I think he's absolutely as good as he looked there. He went really fast in that second race at Ascot, and the time was sensational. So I think he's that good, but he ain't a fast ground 2 miler, so he wouldn't have had much hope here. And I think Paul Nicholls has done the right thing. Save him for next year, and we'll see how good he is. I'm starting to see chinks in Altior, I think. I think he'll win. And I'm not going to oppose him. But
the jumping down the back at Ascot.
Well, the Ascot jumping was terrible. We had to work really hard. For him, that Champion Chase win was a bit of a stinker, wasn't it? You know what I mean?
I just think he's getting away. He's a 3 mile chaser running over the wrong trip, just getting away with it.
I'm not sure he's a 3 mile chaser. He is very fast when he hits top gear, but he will obviously get further, I think. But I just think there's chinks starting to appear. Like, you know, he's been on. You know, he's 9 now, but his last 2 runs just there are question marks, and of course he's going back right-handed again. And let's see what he does. If there's one to beat him, it's So Royal. So Royal is pretty classy at his best, and he does like Sandown and decent ground. So if there is one to beat him, it's definitely him.
Would you back him each way, looking at almost getting your money back with a 1/4-2?
Yeah, I could back it. I could definitely back him each way. Yeah, I could see that.
Tom, we better be quick because you've obviously got a wedding to go to. You're looking very smart there, aren't you? Who'd you fancy?
I don't fancy anything, to be fair. Altior's going to win. Sorry, I was going to be second. Forecast won't pay anything. Each way, you lose money for finishing second. Not a betting race, just watch Altior win.
Okay, well, the 335 is certainly a betting race. It's the Bet365 Gold Cup. I think we finally stopped, even the oldest fossil in racing has stopped calling it the Whitbread now, haven't they?
Yeah, too right as well. I mean, if a sponsor drops out and decides he's not going to support racing anymore, what on earth are we doing giving them name checks?
Yeah, I completely agree.
You know? So, yeah.
Although we do quite like it when people still call it the Racing Post Chase. But anyway, that's by the by. It's a really competitive heat. Darren, take us through the betting.
Yeah, most competitive race of the day here. Step Back is our 7-1 fav. Talk is Cheap, the other gamble of the race, is 8-1. Give Me a Copper's 8s. Beware the Bears 10s. Rock the Casbah's 10s. The Young Masters 10s. Justice Singh is 10s. Joe Farless 12s, and it's 14s bar.
Any extra places for us?
Yes, indeed. 6 places we are paying on this race, Bruce.
6 places. You can get that through paddypower.com or the Racing Post app. So plenty of incentive to get stuck in some each way. Keels, who should we be backing?
Yeah, I mean, start with last year's winner. I think you've got to put him in. I backed him for the national.
Have you got a name?
Step Back. Sorry, yeah, Step Back. I backed him for the national. I was aware of his tendency to go out to the right, but it became more and more marked as it went on, and he was almost.
Are you aware of your tendency to stamp your feet?
Hey, am I still doing it again? Sorry.
I'd have to put lead boots on him. Go on.
Sorry. I did tap dancing, can't I?
Roy Castle.
You ever seen me dance? I'm absolutely useless as well. God knows why I'm tapping. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he absolutely tore the field apart in this race last year. Won it by 13 lengths, 14 lengths further back to the third. Just from the front, jumped them silly. He had most of them beat going to the railway fences. You know, he's £10 higher, but he'd have won it off a £10 higher mark last year easily. You know, and okay, he's run 3 times and he ain't run too well, but he's always gone left-handed. He was being primed purely for a crack at the Grand National. It didn't work. Nico de Boinville did the right thing, pulled him up. So I don't think he would have had too much of a hard race. And going back right-handed has got to be the way to go. And they've put a tongue tie on him as well. I think he'll go. Very, very close.
Are you having a single arrow? Or
no. Another arrow. There's a horse that I've been convinced has got a decent marathon prize in him, and that's Ballydyne. He ran an absolute shocker at Utoxeter last time. So I say ran a shocker. He jumped terribly in the Midlands National, but I think he struggles to jump out of bad ground, and it was really deep there. Given how many fences he hit, it was remarkable that he was still in contention 4 out, to be honest, you know, because they've done a 4 mile race. I think he'll relish the hill here. He has won a decent handicap chase over 3 mile here on better ground. If James Bowen gets him jumping, I think he's a massive player.
Okay, so Kills has gone for the favourite Step Back, but he's also having a little Rod Laver on Ballydyne. Tom, who's your fancy?
I like Harry Fry's Justice Sting here. Needs quick ground, and he hasn't had that the last twice. It's been good to soft. He needs it rattling underfoot, and he should probably get that here at Sandown. He hasn't had many starts, so he's still unexposed as improver, which you can't say for most of these horses. I mean, Step Back, erratic jumper, not for me. Jumping wins races like this. Beware the Bears, too high in the weights. Talk is cheap, the trip is a worry. So you can get rid of those 3, in my opinion.
Ooh, get rid of those 3. Kills, you having that?
I can see Talk is Cheap going well.
I
can see Talk is Cheap going well, but I can't have Beware the Bear. That's got no chance.
Radio.
So Justice Sting has really decent form. Like as a novice, he beat horses like Kildesart and Vindication. We know what they've done since. He's only gone chasing this year. Still looks a bit green on occasions. We'll love the ground. We'll stay the trip. He's been dropped £1 as well, which I don't really understand why. It's pretty lenient from the handicapper, and he's been the subject of some early support. So. Also from myself. So hopefully you can do
enough to move the market, you mate. Big punter. So you're going Justice Sting.
Justice Sting, yeah.
And Darren, who do you like?
It's a couple of darts in this. So my first one is no massive surprises. Like Give Me a Copper. I thought he ran way better than the bare result in the Ultimate at Cheltenham. Like, he was up thereabouts the whole way, and he just got tired at the end. And he was entitled to that after a second run back from a long absence. I think a flatter track here will see him to better effect, and I'd expect him just to be at full fitness after 2 runs.
Okay, that was Sandown. We'll do the rest of the ITV action next.
So, does an each-way bet mean that my horse has to do part of the race in reverse?
Everyone loves a newbie. That's why Paddy Power Games are giving all new customers 60 free spins on daily jackpot games. New Paddy Power Games customers only, 1 per customer. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back. Right then, so ITV, as well as obviously the main event at Sandown, are at Haydock for one race and Leicester for one race. We'll do Haydock first. It's the 205. It's the Old Boston handicap and a tricky old betting heat. Darren, what's the latest?
It is tricky, Bruce, but we are paying 4 places here, so you have a good chance of getting some cash back on it anyway. Lord Oberon is our 9-2 fav. Wahash is 5s. Safe Voyage is 13-2. Shady McCoy is 15-2. Cold Stare is 8s. So Beloved is 9s. Growl is 9s, and it is 12s bar.
You got this one all sussed, Tom?
Hopefully. I think 4 places, about 12-1. Ptarmigan Ridge. First start for Richard Hughes. I think it's a great each-way bet. Look, he's extremely quirky. He doesn't really go through with his races. And the one race he did win last year, which was at Chester, he didn't even come off the bridle. So the jockey was obviously at pains to ask him for everything. But he has a really high cruising speed. He will travel into the race better than anything, and he'll definitely trade shorter than 12-1 in running, that's for sure. He's well handicapped. Richard Hughes is really good with quirky types. We've seen it with Glenn Devon, George of Hearts as well. I think David Egan won the race last year, and he can go close to winning it again.
Ptarmigan Ridge for Tom, and for Darren, who's it going to be?
Fancy Wahash here, Bruce. On a direct line, like Lord Oberon here is fab, but on a direct line through a horse called Mr. Top Hat, he definitely has the measure of Lord Oberon. Like, he beat him 2 lengths, giving him £8, and Lord Oberon only beat him 2.5, getting 4. He had a decent run last week in Bath, where he hit the front too soon over a mile and was just caught out by the stiff finish, and he was only narrowly beaten by a very well handicapped horse in Petrus. I think this return to 7 furlongs and a slightly sharper track should be in his favour, and he has race fitness on his side too, which you can't say for all of these.
And who is the Paul Keeley fancy?
Yeah, I mean, last year's winner, Safe Voyage, he absolutely bolted up, won it by 6 lengths. That was on soft ground. This is good to firm in places, but it's supposed to be hammering down all day today. So
could be anything then, couldn't it?
Could be absolutely anything. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that it's firm in places that they haven't watered, so it'll be very fast. But it could, if the Met Office forecast was right, it could be a lot softer than that, and then I would give him a big chance. He's a very decent horse on soft ground.
And by the way, Kills, we should put in a word for Clarks, of course, because they rely so heavily on these weather forecasters. And poor old Kirkland Tellwright at Haydock gets it in the neck so much, but it must be so difficult. You just don't know what you're getting. Andrew Cooper was saying this week that he prepared the course on the basis that the forecast was going to bring a load of rain. There hasn't been a drop.
One shower for about a minute yesterday.
Yeah.
That's all we've had. So yeah, it's very, very difficult.
It's a hard job, isn't it? We should cut them some slack at times. Let's look at the Leicester TV race. It's the 245. It's the EBF Stallions King Richard III Stakes. Interesting little 7 furlong contest this. Darren, read out the betting for us.
Sure thing, Bruce. We are money back here if Eqtidar wins the race. So you're well entitled to take him on here. And he is our 11-8 favourite. Laugh a Minute is 9-4. Hagen Man is 4s. Don Juan Triumphant is 5s. Larchmont Lad is 10s. And Card Sharp for Mark Johnson rounds them out at 20-1.
And we're sticking with you for the first tip, Darren. Who are you going to go for?
Yeah, look, you needn't be a genius to cop the kind of form Sylvester D'Souza and Andrew Balding are in early doors this season. All the horses look very forward, and Sylvester's riding them like as if his life depends on it, which it may well do given the retainer he's on. There's rain promised in Leicester, which will be to his benefit, I think. It's meant to be bucketing down there at the moment. Like it reads good to firm, but the ground probably will come back a little bit softer, a bit of juice in it, which will suit him perfectly. I can see Sylvester banging...
You haven't mentioned yours name yet, mate.
Oh yeah, Don Juan Triumphant.
I know who you're talking about, but
yeah, sorry, Don Juan Triumphant. Yeah, look, I can see Sylvester bagging the rail here. The more rain, the better for him. And in this small field, if he bags the rail, I could see him making all and being very hard to peg back.
Do you think he's ground dependent? Because I really like this horse and I back him a lot when it's soft. I was looking through his form actually, because when I saw he was declared there, and I thought, I normally needs a bit of cut. Now the weather obviously, looks like it's going to rain. If it doesn't, do you think he just comes out, or do you think he runs and they give him a chance? His form on good ground's not too bad, is it?
I'd say his career best is when he was fourth in the Lennox Stakes behind Sir Lancelot, and that was on good ground at Goodwood over 7 as well. I'd say he's one of these that will definitely prefer it soft, or in comparison to the others in the field, but Jesus, I wouldn't say that he necessarily needs it that way, and if it was good, I wouldn't see it being a massive inconvenience.
Kills, do you like the old Don Juan?
Yeah, I can see him going well. Definitely if the ground does soften a bit. You have to take on Ektidar, I think. I mean, he only one of 5 starts last year. He made it count. It was the Commonwealth Cup, but I don't think. I know Sands and Marley won the champion sprint, but I don't think the 3-year-old sprinters were all that. And he's going up in trip first time out. Don't think his form is much better than everything else. I couldn't have him at 11 or 8 in a million years. I'd want to give a chance to at a price as Larchmont Lad. He's he's a very solid horse at 7 furlong. Normally runs his race.
Who trains him?
Joseph Chute. Is that right?
That's correct, isn't it, Darren? I remember DJ being absolutely tickled when G-Rod had an attempt and he called him Tweet.
Oh, Tweet.
Yeah.
That's how I'd pronounce it, to be honest, is tweet.
Tweet?
Tweet, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, DJ came down on G-Rod like a ton of bricks and told him it was shoot.
Anyway, yeah, he's left David and I went for 100 grand. He'd do well to get that back in his career, to be honest. But I mean, he is a decent animal, and I think 10 to 1's a fair price.
I don't have any problem with people buying proven racehorses for that sort of money. It's when they buy horses that are a year old and you haven't got a clue what they're going to be like for 100 grand. I find that absolute madness. But what do I know? What do you know, Tom?
I disagree with the lads. I think Ektidar's a class above here. I think he's one of the best favourites of the day, to be honest. He was a rapid improver last year, won the Commonwealth Cup, which is by far the best piece of form in the race. That was only his 5th start as well, so he's open to plenty more improvement. The trip won't be a problem. He didn't like the heavy ground in the Sprint Cup when last seen, so the only doubt is if it absolutely pours it down and it gets really testing. But
you're going to be lumping on?
If the ground remains pretty decent, then yeah.
I think you and Kills could come to a private arrangement. Yeah. Obviously that's illegal, but... Okay, interesting race that, isn't it? Good to see the Leicester getting a bit of attention there, and I hope they get a decent crowd. Right then, we've got the rest of the Sandown card. Now, Kills said he loves Sandown, so hopefully he's got a few more for us there. We've got the rest of Haydock, we've got Limerick in Ireland as well as Wexford, we've got the rest of Leicester, and we've got Ripon, Donny and Wolverhampton. So plenty for the lads to get stuck into on Saturday without giving their naps away. Kills?
Yeah, I'm just Sandown all the way, to be honest. And
You've mentioned all the ones you want to mention.
No. I've got more. I've got more. Yeah, I'll be having a Heinz.
Heinz?
Yeah.
57 bets?
57 bets, yeah. Why not? Right, 410. You Never Call. Last time we saw him was in the long walk hurdle at Ascot over 3 mile on soft ground. Didn't stay, didn't like the ground. Time before that, he bolted up and had 2 mile, 5 furlong handicap at Kempton on good ground. That's what he wants, good ground, this sort of trip. Back run suggests he's definitely up to this level. And I can see him being a fair price and going very, very well after Windop. 440, quite like Didero Vallis. I actually backed him in the old racing post chase a couple of starts ago. I don't think he stayed the 3 mile then, and in hindsight, the last 2 times he'd run over 3 mile, he'd been well beaten as well. So he was a lot better when 5th in the plate to Sue de Lac last time. That's top handicap form. And although his improvement this year for Venetia Williams has come on soft ground, his best run for Willie Mullins over hurdles by a long way was on good ground. So I think he should be all right. So he has to go well. And then my old friend, I'm going to do it again.
Wait for me.
Wait for me. Oh. One more time. I lumped on him. I thought he'd win at Aintree, and obviously they took him out because the ground went soft. And I lumped him in at Ayr, and I didn't think enough about it, to be honest, because he needs a big field and he needs them to go fast, and they didn't, and he pulled, and then he just plugged on. But this is the race for him, really. I mean, there's a nice big field. They'll go hard. He won the race by 6 lengths 2 years ago. Absolutely act up. He's only won a bad novice chase at Worcester since. And I've thrown loads of good money after bad, but I will be doing it again.
So the each way Sandown Heinz is in the 150 Humble Hero, the 225 Go Conquer, the 3 o'clock we're going to leave, aren't we?
Yeah.
The 335 Step Back,
Yeah, and Ballydine. I'm going to split the stakes, I think.
Okay. 410, you're going to be going for You Never Call.
Yeah.
440, who was it again?
Didero Vallis.
Dero Vallis, and then Wait For Me in the
Wait For
550.
Me, yeah.
Are you at Sandown?
I'm at Sandown, yeah.
So if the first 5 legs have won, that's going to be quite exciting, isn't
Wait For Me will be about evens then.
Okay, excellent. Right then, Tom, what have you got for us?
Just the one. The 7:15 at Doncaster, Mark Johnson's well-bred filly called Sapper Inca. Extremely unlucky not to win on handicap debut at Kempton. Last time out, Joe Fanning found himself boxed in and just had nowhere to go. Got completely outridden by Holly Doyle on that occasion. Still only got beat, I think, about a length or half length or a head or somewhere around there. She's a proper improver over this trip this season, 1 mile 4. She was campaigned over 6 or 7 furlongs last year. This is her year. Over 1 mile 4, she's going to rack up a sequence. Typical Mark Johnson improver.
Are you good at calling Braveheart horses? They are quite hard to get right, aren't they?
They are.
I know they're always trying, but it's just
Yeah.
sometimes, isn't it? Are you good with Johnson kills?
Used to be, not so much now.
Right,
A
okay.
few years ago, I'd always get the right one on a handicap, but nowadays, no. I've lost the
Tom,
touch.
you're good with Bravey, are you?
I don't mind Mark Johnson in handicaps.
Okay. Jolly good. Darren, what have you got for us? Don't give your nap away.
No, just the one in Doncaster as well, but it's the race before Tom, 6:45. It's a horse of Richard Fahey's called Indamino. Midland Park own him and Sylvester de Souza's jocked up. He's a 4-year-old Piccolo. He ran reasonably well in some competitive handicaps last year without winning, but he's the type I could see improving at 4. His full sister didn't show her best form until she was 5 or 6. So just going back to last year, he ran behind Port Swan in a handicap, finished only a couple of lengths off him, and that form looks pretty good now. After Port Swan winning again this year, and then after that he was narrowly beaten by Appalment, who won a handicap of 94 the other day. He was only, he made his comeback there in Doncaster over 10 furlongs, looking like he'd need the run. Like, he stayed on nicely enough. He was beaten about 3 lengths into 6th, and he's just one I could see coming on a lot for that run. 84, his mark of 84 looks lenient enough, and I could see him running very, very well in what should be a competitive race.
And do you like it when the old SDS is jocked up by one you fancy, Darren?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm the biggest SDS fanboy in the world. Absolutely love him.
If you owned a horse that was running in the Guineas next week and you could pick any jockey to ride him, who would you go for?
Sylvester, every day of the week.
Who would you go for, Kills?
I like D'Souza as well, yeah. Big fan.
Tom?
Buick. Normally Doyler, but he hasn't been riding as well as he can of late.
Interesting. Okay, let's get the Saturday naps.
This will not be beaten.
Darren Hughes.
Sure, so my nap is in the 3:30 in Ripon tomorrow. It's a 2-mile handicap. Mark Johnson runs 2, and the one I favour is Making Miracles. He was highly tried last year running in the Melrose and the Sajara Switch, and he deserved more credit than he got. He ran better than what it might appear. He refaces Lucky Deal today, who he couldn't give £9 on his comeback, but he meets him on far better terms today. He finished ahead of him in a race last week won by Austrian School when he was held up. I think he'll make all tomorrow.
Tom?
Humble Hero, 150 Sandown, been its target all season. Dan Skelton loves to lay one out, and the first place prize money is almost double that of the Grade 2 Oaksey Chase that follows it. So Dan Skelton will want to win this race.
Excellent. Kills?
In the hope that the bookmaker's miss him, I'm going to go for You Never Call in the 410, because I think he's got the form to be right up there at the front of the market, but I have a feeling that he's going to get a little bit missed. So Darren, can you not go up first, please, Paddy Power?
I forgot what you even said.
Good man, that's what we like. We'll do Sunday, and I might even squeeze a Guineas tip out the boys next.
Check out Paddy's Rewards Club. Simply place 5 bets of £10 or more across any sport in a week, and you'll get a free £10 bet then next week. T&Cs apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Welcome back to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. Bruce Millington, Paul Keeley, Tom Collins and Darren Hughes from Paddy Power. We're looking ahead to a good little card at Navan as the Irish flat season continues to kick into life. We'll do the 310 first. It's the committed stakes. I don't think we've got any prices yet, but Darren, you're Irish, you're based in Ireland, so you probably know more than the other two. What do you fancy?
Yeah, no prices here. I'd like to say it's a competitive affair, but I don't think it actually is. I think it's a 2-horse race between Aidan O'Brien's The Irish Rover and his son Joseph's Cava. He does have San Andreas in as well, there, Aidan, but I'd be surprised if he was up to the standard necessary. Look, the pair of them, the Irish Rover's rated 105, Cava's rated 100. She's getting a £5 fillies allowance, so it looks like it might be a match, but I favour the filly here. She only had 2 starts. She was forward enough to win her maiden in Fairyhouse first time out at a big price last year, and then went straight from there 2 weeks later to run in a Group 3, where she was only beaten a length by So Perfect and Skitter Scatter, with 3 lengths back to the 4th place. I'd expect her to improve a lot from that again. She's the least exposed in the field. I mean, like, Irish Rover sets a decent standard on his 3rd behind advertising the Phoenix Stakes, but I'd be very disappointed if she wasn't able to improve past that, especially getting the fillies allowance. She looks quick. 5.5 furlongs at Navan should be absolutely ideal, and I'd strongly fancy her on Sunday. If you get any sniff of 2 to 1 plus, I'd be on.
Do you agree, Tom?
I think it is a 2-runner race, exactly like Darren said, but I'm all over the Irish Rover here. Aidan O'Brien started this season in fantastic form, I should say. He's been absolutely flying, 12 for 26 in the last fortnight, 46% strike rate. I don't think he's sent out a 2-year-old that hasn't won as well, which is just...
It's unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah, just by the by. I mean, normally I'd take them on every single season, but they're just romping home.
DJ was saying that he's been able to work them on grass for the first time in ages.
That's probably why they're doing so well then. The Irish Rover ran a really nice comeback race. Under 10 to handling from Shamie Heffernan last time out over a trip far too far. Drop back will suit. Mainly campaigned at group level last year in Britain. Just probably the best horse in this race and should win under Ryan Moore.
Well, by the time this race is run, if all Kilsy's horses have won at Sandown, he'll still be singing the Irish Rover with Guinness dribbling.
No, I'm a Cavan man myself. You know, I do like her. I just had a look at her pedigree actually. She's a half to Hitchens, one of my old favourites, sprinter that was around her ages. But it says she's the 16th foal. That's some mare, isn't it?
That is. Wow, that's a good effort. I
just assume we've got it wrong.
Is there any other good ones or just that one?
No, I couldn't see it and my phone's locked up now anyway.
Oh, wow. So you're going Carver?
Yeah.
Okay. Right then, 4:15 is the Vintage Crop. Group 3, a mile and 6. Always a telling race for the staying targets for the rest of the year. And Darren, go again. Lead on. Will Capri come back to life here?
Yeah, I'd expect him to, Bruce. Like, this race has been won by some very smart types over the years, like Order St. George, Forgotten Rules and Fame and Glory. Class acting it this year just looks like Capri. I mean, like, he ran an absolute stormer in the Arc over a mile and a half behind Enable. 10 furlongs on soft ground in the Champion Stakes just wasn't his bag at all. And then, you know, at the end of a long year, he went out to Tokyo and was well beaten by Almond Eye, but like I'd be happy enough to scrap that. The plan with him this year is to turn him into a cup horse. You know, he's going to be targeting, he's going to be the new Order of St. George, effectively, I think is the plan. For me, he is a class edge over everything else in this field. The next best in the race is Southern France, who I see Donica has actually jocked up on. Again, looks like a 2-horse race, but I'd be surprised if Capri couldn't leave these in dust.
Would you be surprised, Tom, if Capri got beat here?
No, not at all. I think Capri's definitely the best horse in the race. Classiest horse. I mean, O'Brien's 5 for 8 in this race recently. He could run away with it, and the price will suggest that he probably will run away with it, but I'd rather be on Donica's mount, Southern France. I actually backed him in the St. Leger when he was 3rd behind Kew Gardens and Latidar last season. He wasn't given the toughest race again. I think he was pretty babyish, and he's going to improve a lot this year. A long trip is a must, as he's a dour stayer, but I think he's probably the best bet of the prices in this race.
And Kills?
No, I'm a Capri man. I have had a very, very expensive time laying some shorties from Aidan O'Brien recently, and that working on grass has obviously meant something, hasn't it? You know what I mean? But, I did my absolutes at Epsom the other day.
Oh,
on his what's it? Yeah. I chased it all the way out as well. So
did you have a nice day though?
Yeah, it was freezing though, really windy. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, but no, it was a good day other than financially, which is pretty horrendous to be fair.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
Oh well. So who's going to win this then?
Capri.
Capri. Okay, right then. Let's look over to France at Longchamp. It's the Prix Gannet, a Group 1. Only 5 runners. We've got some prices, haven't we, Darren?
Have indeed, yeah. The lads are on overtime. Gaia is our 2s on Fav. Walgeist is 10 to 3. Study a Man is 7s. Soleil Marine is 12s. And Intelligent is 20s.
And Tom, who wins?
Well, how do you even pronounce this favourite? Because
we'll
people are saying it's
Gaiath.
People are saying it was Ryath. There's not even an R in it. But that's apparently
that's the Arabian pronunciation, I think.
Well, should we go with Gaiath?
All right, we're going to go with Gaiath. Okay, Gaiath wins. I put him up as my horse to follow for the whole of the flat season in one of our features a couple of months ago. He's a fantastic horse. He was Godolphin's main Derby hope last season.
What's the biggest race he's going to win this season?
Everything he runs in.
The Arc?
Yeah, potentially. The Arc. I mean, I don't think he'll be beat. He's one of the best horses I've seen in a quite long time. He's only had 5 starts, but he's been so impressive every single time he's run. He's 4 for 5 in his career. He dotted up on his reappearance. Barely came out of third gear, and he was eased down to win like he hadn't had a race. He's a proper Group 1 horse. He'll make all again. No price really, but just watch the spectacle.
What price is he, Darren? Remind me.
1 to 2.
1 to 2. Okay. Keels, can you look
Yeah,
beyond?
no, I can't argue with that. He just looks so impressive every time he runs. Yeah, I mean, he's really good. I mean, they're not mugs. Obviously, you've got Study a Man and Waldgeist in there, but, you know, they've got their level. And you really would hope that he'd be beyond their level.
3 votes for the Fav, Darren?
Yeah, look, I was surprised to see him quite as short as he is. I mean, like, Waldgeist is a very, very good horse in his own right, and Study a Man is as well, but very, very difficult to look by him. He has the fitness edge as well. Could easily make all like he did the last time. I'm very blown away by the last time I watched the video this morning. Can't see past him.
Okay, elsewhere on Sunday, if you fancy a day at the races, they are on the flat at Salisbury and Wetherby. Still seems weird, that, doesn't it? Flat racing at Wetherby. And obviously we've got Navan, which we've already talked about, and Sligo. Any other horses we should be backing, TC?
No, I'm not going to be having a massive play on the Sunday, to be honest. I went racing last weekend at Fosslas and Chepstow. Fosslas is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah,
if you've never been, it's one of the best courses I've been to, I think. Really nice. And they put on a nice family day for...
That was good, was it?
Yeah, it was really good, and the weather was
You
lovely.
give it the thumbs up?
Yeah, 100%. So
I think you went to the first meeting ever at Fosslas that wasn't staged on bottom of the ground,
I
wasn't
know, I could not believe it. It was 23 degrees. I burnt. It was unbelievable.
Long way though, isn't it?
3.5 hours from my home, I think.
You did that in Chepstow, did you?
Yeah, we went to Fosslas, then a night out in Cardiff, then Chepstow the next day.
That sounds like a good weekend.
Yeah, it was
Gills, have you got anything we should be backing on Sunday?
Yeah, a couple of Salisbury. 3:35, a horse called Guild Hall, trained by your mate Rafe. I'm sure you'll have backed it already, or will do. I thought he ran a really nice race when third at Doncaster. I think that was a fair handicap as well. He'll come on for that.
Rafe's, I wouldn't say he's out of form, but
only
could do with a winner or two.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, he does pick up, but it was a really nice run, and I think he'll improve for it. He's only rated 78. He'll be better than that by the end of the year for sure. And in the 1 mile 6 furlong handicap of 440, I can't remember the name. It's Kaloob, but I can't see the full. But here it is, Kaloob. That's it.
Yeah.
Owen Burrows stayed in the same ownership despite having been gelded, had a wind operation. I have a feeling he's going to develop into a really good stayer this year.
I like Gumble's flat career. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. No. Kaloob really did progress. A couple of seasons ago, he was limited to only 2 runs last year. He's obviously had his problems, but I think he's potentially a very good stayer.
Have you ever done Salisbury?
No, I haven't. No.
Nice.
Yeah, I love Salisbury.
Lovely track.
Loads of courses. What's the weirdest one you've been to?
The weirdest one I've ever been to, blimey, I don't, Hereford. It's not very weird, is it?
I went to Redcar.
You went to Redcar. Well, it's not weird. It's just a long way from where you live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you know, I mean, I won't give it the thumbs up that Tom goes last minute that way. It was absolutely freezing cold, and the doors kept swinging open. But you know,
blimey. We should get to Salisbury. That's a super little track. That, Darren. What else should we be backing on Sunday?
Just one horse is worth keeping an eye out for on Sunday, lads. A gamble for the Oaks, Pink Dog Wood.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, I mean, I looked at the form figures. I mean, it hasn't got many ones by its name, has it?
No, it ran 3 times. Got beaten twice in her first 2 maidens. Once hammered by Lady Kaya, but come out in heavy ground in Gorham Park and won by literally 7 lengths on the snaff. Now, I'd say she might be slightly ground dependent. Then came 5th in the Pre-Marcel Boussac at Longchamp, but she's been the talk of the town in terms of the Oaks this year for maidens. Like, it looks a weak enough division, I'd say, all told. And she's running in the 340 at Navan on Sunday in the Salsabil Stakes. She's just worth keeping an eye out for. She might be much
that rang a bell. Someone mentioned this week that's been well back. Pink Dogwood, of course, is, I think it's one of the holes at Augusta, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is
something
indeed.
like
It's a
that.
type of flower, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it didn't take a lot of working out, did it? What else is it going to be, Darren?
I didn't know. Like, she's having a clue.
All right. Right then, weekend plans, Kills. On the rampage at Sandown.
On the rampage at Sandown tomorrow, yeah, going to be.
Where will you be? Where can you Postcast listeners find you if they want?
Premier Enclosure Bar.
Okay.
And I won't speak to them if they only buy me a half.
Okay. A pint buys you an audience with Keels. And a lifetime friendship. He's one of the funniest fellas to have a pint with. So you've got Sandown Sunday, and what about Monday? So Sandown Saturday, Sunday?
Sunday, recover. Monday, golf. Tuesday,
And then exciting week. You're going Punchestown,
Down,
aren't you?
yeah.
You're looking forward to that? It's your debut, isn't it?
No, I went last year.
Oh, did you?
I went last year and have to go again.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, love it.
Have you got a horse that you might have on your radar for Punchestown, or is it?
Not really, no. I mean, I'm massively looking forward to seeing Kenboy against Albion Photo.
Who will win that?
I favour Kenboy just a bit. I mean, Albion Photo did me a massive favour in the Gold Cup, but I still just favour Kenboy.
By the way, Keels, Lee and DJ will be out there doing daily Punchestown podcasts next week, so do join us for that.
Have you been to Galway, Paul?
Not racing, no.
I've been racing, but not festival. It's always
If ever there was a festival made for Paul Keeley, it's the Galway Festival. I'm not joking. You. Make it your business to go this year or next year. While you still can.
Too busy, mate. It's good.
They need to move it away from Goodwood.
They
They need to get that sorted out. It's a stupid clash that. It doesn't do anyone any good. They must separate those one day. But I mean, I went for a student day in October, Darren, and that was lively enough. I can only imagine what it's like at the festivals. So that is definitely one we need to tick off. So Tom, what's the weekend hold for you, my friend?
Unfortunately, not as exciting as Keels. I'm working both days, so yeah, it should be fun watching the race in the office.
Yeah. What price are you to win money?
After last week, I'd say I'm a good 10 to 1, but no, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful of a couple. If Humble Hero wins first at Sandown, then we're in business.
Bounce back. And Darren, what's the weekend hold for you, my friend?
Yeah, a few beers tonight after work. Take it handy tomorrow, watch the race, and then I might go up as far as Navan on Sunday, depending on how the head is.
Lovely stuff. Okay, chaps, many thanks. Thank you very much indeed for watching and listening. Don't forget, if you enjoy the shows, please subscribe, review and rate us wherever you're listening. We're also available on Spotify. So as I say, Monday, Maddie's back to review the weekend and look ahead to Punchestown. But we do have daily Punchestown postcasts every day next week. We've got golf on Wednesday, we've got football Thursday, and we're back next Friday looking ahead to a great weekend, highlight of which, of course, is the 2,000 guineas. So quickly, in a word or two or three, depending on how many words there is in the name of your fancy, who wins the guineas, Keels?
I've absolutely no idea. We were talking before, I think, advertisers probably a fair price now.
Tom?
Poor race, but Magna Graecia.
Okay, and Darren?
Advertises the value, but Mad Moon wins.
Thank you very much, chaps. See you next week.
Paddy Power Games has over 250 of your favourites to play online, and we're going to attempt to name them all in this 10-second ad before the T's and C's kick in. There's Blackjack, 18+, begambleaware.org.